Meanwhile, Italy's foreign minister flew into Tripoli for talks with the head of Libya's unity government, Fayez Seraj, the first senior Western official to meet the new Libyan administration since it moved to the capital. The mission by Italy will be seen as a vote of confidence in Seraj, who arrived in the city last month at the head of a UN-backed presidential council to try and end years of political deadlock and conflict. Italy, France and other Western powers have offered to support Seraj and train security forces facing a growing threat from Islamist militants. The unity government is meant to replace two rival sets of governments and parliaments in Tripoli and the east. Both were backed by loose alliances of the armed factions that established themselves after the uprising that toppled Muammar Gaddafi in 2011.
The fact that the visit could be the first of several visit from European countries. I'm sure that many other European countries will visit Tripoli because we, as Europe, are strongly committed to support the new government and the Presidency Council. Obviously, we are also working to support it with all the international community, not only as Europeans, but for sure I think many of my colleagues will be there in the near future, and we are all studying and discussing the possibility of reopening in the near future our diplomatic presence here in Tripoli.
Well, for more insights and analysis on the diplomatic efforts to stabilize Libya, let's talk to CCTV's Yusuf Gaiji. He's joining me now with the latest from Tunis. Yusuf, talks have been going on there in Tunis to come up with a roadmap for Libya's return to stability. Do we now have a clearer picture what such a roadmap would entail?
Well, the meeting has been happening all day long behind closed door, and it's supposed to finish around now, and we should know very briefly what the exact outcome of the meeting is. But what we know for now, and this is a good idea of what's been happening inside, is that there is a creation of a Libya Stabilization Fund, and this fund is supposed to pay and cover the expenses of rebuilding Libya. And the second part of the meeting deals with what will happen exactly during this phase where international community will commit to rebuild Libya. And we know that different countries have been submitting proposals of projects and different things that they want to do in the country, and they are offering to do in the country. And now the Libyans have to decide what projects are important for them and what are their priorities to move forward. What we know also, and this is extremely important, is there are two areas that have been excluded from the meeting and from the talks, and these are security and oil revenues. And the international community say that these two particular points will be dealt with elsewhere, but for now we're dealing with other aspects such as migration or the rule of law and justice, the infrastructure and basic services that the people need.
Well, Yusuf, Italy's foreign minister has, in the same time, though, visited Tripoli to show support for the UN-backed Presidential Council. Is there confidence there that such a show of support will help the new government gain acceptance among ordinary Libyans, or is there a likely risk of a backlash?
Well, there are different aspects that we need to consider. First, this is extremely important. The visit of the Italian foreign minister shows the support that this government has from the international community. And indeed, you know, this government itself is backed by several countries from around the world, as well as the United Nations and other international organizations. And this is important because this government is the only link that Libyan people have with the world. This government represents them and talks in their behalf, and it's their only hope to stay connected and still remain in the global map. However, there is another aspect to this. First, this government needs a lot of support from the different political parties and different actors from within Libya, and it is important that they rally everybody around them. However, we've seen in the past few weeks or months that different political parties are against this government and blame it and say that this government is backed by the UN, it's decided by the UN, it's not decided by the Libyans themselves. And the other aspect to this as well is that the international community may show support by going to Libya, but we learned also that there need to be good plans of how to deal with Libya. And you heard in the report that the British ambassador admitted that in the past, you know, the international community was not effective in dealing with Libya, particularly in 2011. President Obama also said that he failed to plan for Libya after Muammar Gaddafi. So indeed, support is good, but there should be good planning as well.
Youssef Gaiji for us there in Tunis. Thank you.